guys, my name is Dreka and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back, y'all. So today I decided, instead of doing a vlog, I decided to sit down and do a update chit chat. Today is April 27th, which today is Sunday, and yesterday was the 26th, and it made 3 months since I got baptized. So I thought it would be cool just to sit and just have a chit chat with you guys, to tell you guys what has been going on these last 3 months, what I'm learning, what I'm struggling with, and just hope that this video could help somebody that's in the same boat as me and what I'm going through. So I decided, instead of a regular vlog, to just do a little sit down chit chat. So I have some things in here that I've been writing down on what I've been learning, what I've been struggling with. That way, because your girl mind gets scatterbrained, and if I don't put things down, I'm like all over the place. And I'm trying to have this video nice and short, under 10 minutes if I can. That's the goal. But I just wanted to just come in, sit in, and talk to you guys. And we're gonna get to the first lesson I learned. Alright guys, so the first thing that is a struggle, just a little bit, but not too much, is secular music. And when I say secular music, I don't really listen to like crazy things that I should not be listening to, far as now going forward. Like, I have, tried to reboot my mind and go to gossip. But when I say secular music, I like listen to, like occasionally I'll catch myself where I'm like, okay, let me put on Tamia, let me put on this, to put on that in between while I'm listening to my gospel music. And those type of R&B, like Tamia, Melanie Fiona, things of that nature, are not bad. But I'm trying to train myself to where I constantly listen to music that is uplifting. But I do have those moments where I catch myself and I'm like, I haven't heard this song in a long time. Let me listen to this song. So I really have to catch myself when I listen to that music and just be like, Dreka, go back to where you at. So that is a struggle, where I'm still kind of like back and forth. Like, I don't mind listening to gospel music and everything, but in a minute too, I'm like, okay, I want to listen to my R&B and, so far. Rap, I can get rid of, because I ain't even go that with today's rap music, but rap I can get rid of. But it's just that R&B music that I'm like, sometimes I just want to go back and just feel like. The other day, I kept playing over and over, and I had to catch myself and snap out of it. I was playing Melanie Fiona, I think it was called like Wrong Side of Love or something like that. And when I say, I was just, that music just touched my soul, but I had to snap out of it. So that is a struggle that I'm really still trying to balance back and forth with, is secular music. I've been doing pretty good with mainly listening to Christian music, but every now and then I'll catch myself like, oh my gosh, I wanna hear this song, and I go back and forth with that. So that's one thing I'm still struggling with as a new Christian. Alright, so the second thing I have in here that I'm still learning as a new Christian is trusting God's plan. And when I say trusting God's plan, I'm the type of person that I have it mapped down A, B, and C of, if this doesn't happen, like, I have a plan for everything. And as I get in this Christian journey, like, a lot of the stuff don't make sense with what I'm going through, and I have to constantly train myself and just tell myself that, hey, I don't understand this right now, what's going on. Because me, when I get troubles coming to my path, I want to come up with a solution instead of trusting God's plan. Like, maybe this could be something that God is testing me on, or maybe this is something that, instead of I feel like I should do this, God is pulling me to do that. So I'm struggling with that tug of war, still just constantly trusting God's plan, because when I get one inconvenience in my life, I instantly think of 50 million plans to try to kind of fix that inconvenience, instead of just sitting back and being like, let go, let God. It is so hard to do, y'all. When I say I have to constantly catch myself and snap out of it, because I'm that type of person that has to constantly if I'm in an inconvenience, find a solution, and I have to kind of sit back and tell myself, like, Dreka, this might be in God's plan. Trust his plan of what's going on. Like, I might not understand it now, but eventually down the road, I'm like, okay, it all makes sense now, but it is hard. That's one, I think one of the major things out of all the lists that I'm really, really struggling with is trusting his plan. Okay, yeah. So the next, I don't know if that was this might be number 4. So the fourth thing I am learning as a new Christian I have down here is get into his word, have a plan, and don't get discouraged. And when I say that, have a plan, don't get discouraged, like before I decided to get to this life with Christ, I haven't really had a desire before I got to this journey to read the Bible. And once I did get a Bible, the Bible is so big, and I'm like, okay, where do I start in the Bible? And when I say that, so a big help for me when I did, started getting in the Bible, I joined a life group. And in my life group, we took different parts of the Bible and we read through it like we would Matthew, read the whole chapter of Matthew, John, read the whole Acts, Numbers, whatever. So I joined a life group to kind of help me, get into the Bible. Each week I had like 5 chapters I had to read out of Numbers or Acts, or like right now I'm in Acts. So right now I'm reading in Acts. And when I say give yourself grace, when I first got into the Bible, when I say I was so discouraged when I was reading, and not only just because I didn't know where to go, but some of them words that be in them Bibles, when I say don't get discouraged, I mean, especially with me, I had to catch myself when I was in Bible study. It used to be certain things that would resonate with me that I reflected on, that kind of touched me, that I feel like is relevant to what I'm going through now, to the point where I will feel discouraged on not wanting to share it because a lot of the words in there I didn't know how to say. So what's been helpful for me is when I come across a word that I don't know, what I would do is I will go on the Bible app and I would go to, wherever I'm at, the verse, and I would hear them read it and say it so that way I can get the word. But a lot of times at the beginning, when I was in that Bible study stage, a lot of things I did not want to share just because I did not know how to say some of them names in the Bible. Because some of them names, you'd be like, what? Like, I don't know. So a lot of that kind of discouraged me too with sharing, on how it touched me and things of that nature, just because it's something as small as I can't say this name. I don't know how to say it. So I'm still working on that because to this day, it's some names that I'm like, but now I'm a little bit more comfortable. I got better at it now and comfortable because when I'm going through it and I'll ask, like, hey, is this word so and such? And I have people that help me and they're like, oh, this is so and such, blah, 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 blah. So don't get discouraged if there's something that you want to share, but you don't have a quite understanding of it or you don't know how to say it. I'm still struggling with that a little bit, but I have got better because I have a good supportive group that will help me and be like, oh, this is how you say the word or everything. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to get together, is not get discouraged, because some of the stuff I'm like, okay, I want to share it, but this word is kind of like freaking me out. And it just be that one word and it's like, okay, throw the whole passage out. And I'm getting better at that, but that is one of the struggles too, that I'm still kind of like, okay, these words. But luckily now I go on the Bible app and I'll listen to it a few times, or even before I'm getting ready to go in for a life group and share, just listen to the words again. If it's one that's really, 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 really just, I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this word is. So don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. And I think the best thing to do if you are a first time person getting in the Bible, if you have a church home or a life group, it is good to join a life group. But I was advised to, when I first started reading the Bible, was to start off, reading Mark, John, Matthew, Luke, to start with those 4 to just get an understanding of Jesus. So that kind of helped me out a little bit. before I joined the life group, I started in those chapters, and then eventually once I got to life group, we branched on to other different type of chapters, revelations, and different that type of sort. So I would definitely recommend, don't get discouraged. If you have a chance to join a life group or a Bible study group, that's going to be your best bet, especially if you, that's going to be your best bet, because I formed a community within my group. So don't get discouraged, y'all. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be hard. If you don't know where to go, I always ask, and that used to be my biggest issue. I never would not want to ask anyone, and that's something that I struggled with too, with asking for help if you don't know it, because at the end of the day, if you are within the right group, they're going to want to help you. So don't get discouraged at all. It's going to be hard. Don't be so hard on yourself to where you feel like immediately once you start reading the Bible that you're going to know it, because it takes time. Give yourself grace. It really does take time. Like, you're not going to know where to immediately go in the Bible. So just give yourself grace. All right, so we are at number 5. So the 5th thing I am learning and still struggling with as a Christian is forgiveness. I know we're supposed to forgive, and I'm the type of person, well, I was, but I'm working on it. I was the type of person that all it takes is for you to burn me once, I'm cutting you off, and that's it. I'm not going to give you another opportunity to burn me again. And even with people that I don't talk to, I have to learn to forgive that person. I'm very, very stubborn. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a very, very stubborn person. Once I got my mind set up on it, it is what it is, and I'm trying to grow out of that mindset. And whoever hurt me, I'm gonna forgive you. I'm gonna pray for you, and then I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I am really, really struggling with forgiveness, because I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's gonna take a while. But I feel like as I get closer to God and get into His Word, eventually my heart will change. And that's another thing when I say give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on yourself to where you feel like immediately after you get baptized, your whole life is going to change. You're going to not feel the way you're not going to feel. You're not going to do the things you were doing before. It takes time and it takes process. So give yourself grace on that. Long as you keep working and you get closer to God, eventually the inside will change, and that's all that matters. And speaking of, this is going to go with the next number 6. And also that ties into, I had to learn that a Christian doesn't have a certain look. I thought that, once I'm like, okay, once I get close to God, I'm going to have to get rid of the piercings, get rid of the tattoos and everything like that. But that's outer body. That's an outer body look. When you get closer to God, it's more of working on the inside and your heart than your appearance. So just because before I got right with God, I have all these tattoos, that does not mean that, oh, now in order for me to be closer to God, I have to get rid of every tattoo on my body. Give yourself grace and just know that everything is from the inside. At the end of the day, your heart is what's going to get you closer to God and your relationship with Him. God's going to work on the inside. So don't really worry about the outside, because no Christian has a certain look. I can't look at her and be like, oh, okay, oh, I know she's a Christian based off how she looks. Christians do not have a look. Everything is on the inside, and just, even if you have done things, it's like, oh, they say, oh, you're not supposed to mark your body or do anything like that. At the end of the day, what's done is done. All is forgiven. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your relationship with God and Him working in your heart. So give yourself grace. All right, so number 7, we are at, I have down, pay attention to your dreams. Okay, so prior to my baptism, the moment that I decided I was going to get closer to God and just do right with my life, I never had so many lucid, vivid, wicked dreams in my life. And a lot of the times I knew they were spiritual attacks when I had dreams where I used to like have to wake up and like force myself up. Like that's how crazy and like demonic my dreams was. And they've gotten a little bit better. A little bit better. They haven't been as crazy as they were at the beginning, but also too, when I say pay attention to your dreams, sometimes it could be a spiritual attack, and sometimes too that could be a way of God talking to you in your dreams. And a lot of the times now, what I'm learning as I have dreams, I note all my dreams down, and when I wake up and do my morning prayer in the morning, I just talk to God and just be like, hey, now the dreams that's like crazy and out of this control, you're gonna have to discern it, what you feel is from God, or even if it might be crazy, that could be a way of God talking to you too. But in the mornings, I always just in my prayers just say, hey, talk to God like, hey, if that was a message, from you, please give me a clarity of understanding. If none of these messages within this dream was not from you, I rebuke everything in the name of Jesus. Like, as you get closer to God in your way, eventually you will kind of learn how he speaks to you. But I always, since I've been in this journey, pay attention to my dreams, because sometimes your dreams, it could be a spiritual attack or it could be God trying to speak and talk to you. So it's just a mess of, as you get closer, try to figure out which way God chooses to communicate with you. But definitely pay attention to your dreams. I have a whole notepad. As soon as I wake up, as much as I can remember in the morning, I write them down and then kind of cycle, pray over them. And this one kind of ties into with it, and I have in here, trust your convictions, your Holy Spirit. And when I say that, it's more of like your discernment on that. I have been trying to figure out like certain things. I'll give you an example. So say I decide, hey, I want to go out, I want to go to a bar. At the time, it's like, okay, I'm cool, I want to go, blah, blah, blah. And then after sitting and thinking about it, something in my mind's like, Dreka, you don't need to be there, this and that. I feel like that's my discernment, my Holy Spirit sitting here talking to me. So I feel like as you get closer to God, you will kind of figure out your discernment and what resonates with you and what is, your discernment on talk. It's kind of hard. I don't know how the right way to word it and say it, but I'll also say just go with your discernment on any situation. If you are feeling a certain type of way, you feeling eerie about a situation, it's 9 out of 10, that might be your discernment sitting there trying to tell you like, hey, this ain't what you need to do. I feel like it's really, really hard for me to try how to put it, but as the time goes on, I feel like you will kind of figure out your discernment and kind of go from there. But that's what I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I've had instances where I want to do this, and then all of a sudden I have this second thought about it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't really need to be doing this right now. And then that's just, let it go and just go from there. So I'm still trying to figure out my discernment. It's been kind of like a battle, a tug of war of trying to figure that out. But that is one of the struggles too. What I'm trying to figure out is my discernment. Sometimes I'm good at catching my discernments and like, okay, this is not something I want to do. But some of it is like, I don't know if it's from you, God, or if this is from, So as time go on, and that's why I'm gonna keep saying this over, over. Give yourself grace, give yourself grace. I have to give myself a lot of grace because I'm new. I don't know. All this is new to me, so I don't really know, and I'm learning. And I feel like as time goes on, and it goes back to just getting in his word, and God's going to talk to you in different ways. It can be in his word, it can be in your dreams, it can be something as simple as something on the billboard or something like that. As you get closer to him, you will kind of figure out the way he communicates with you. And I'm still trying to learn and figure out how God communicates with me. All right, so this is going to be the last one. I don't know if this is like maybe like number 9. I'm gonna have to go back. But the last thing I have is some friendships and some relationships is gonna get uncomfortable. I'm learning that now. I feel like when it comes to family, when it comes to friends and this, so certain people now, as I get closer to God and just move my life in a completely different way and try to get myself out of the world, that some things are going to get uncomfortable, and it's going to be, or even not even uncomfortable. Sometimes God's just going to remove those people. I pray every morning, all the time. I ask God, like, hey, if they're not in your will of me, remove them. And if, you know, just give me the heart and the okay to accept it, because some people go get removed and it might hurt. It might, you know, but that's part of the journey. And sometimes too, you're just going to get your eyes open and just look at things and be like, okay, I'm not in this point of my life anymore. So going forward, I have to go another way. So if a friendship is based off of always partying and drinking and this and that, and I'm not with that life anymore, that's going to subside and get away from me. Or if it does, any relationship that does not serve you no more and where you are in life, it's okay. It's going to get uncomfortable. It's going to get weird. But a lot of the times what I've been learning with people that has been getting, like, God has been quietly removing people. So it hasn't really got uncomfortable for me yet, except once with a friend, and I was like, dang, you know, like my feelings was really hurt about it. But then as time go on and I think about it, I'm like, okay, we're just in two different stages of life right now. And the one thing you would never want to do is, if you know better, is to put yourself in situations. Like, I always, in my mind, I try to think of, when I make decisions on what I want to do, I try to think of things now of, I don't want to give the enemy an opportunity to attack me. So that, and when I say that, it can be something as going to bars, going to clubs, going to, like, you're opening yourself for the enemy to have his will and do what he wants. So as I'm getting closer to God, I'm not going to put myself in those type of situations, or I'm not going to open myself to be in those uncomfortable situations where I'm giving the enemy a free hand of, if that makes sense. So you have to ask, sometimes things are going to get uncomfortable, but it's going to be okay to tell people no. And you're going to have to be okay with that. Because I'm the type, I'm like, well, I try to support people, you know, what they do for me. If they there for me, I do for that too. But at the same time too, you have to really be okay with pulling yourself from the world and the worldly things. So even if it gets uncomfortable, it is what it is. So I look at things that way now in my mind. I'm like, okay, I don't want to give the enemy, you know, because he already messing with me. He already had me battling. So it's just like, I'm not going to give the enemy any extras to try to mess with me. So I have to have my discernment, and I have to not put myself in situations where it's his playground. I'm going to say that. I'm not going to put myself in somewhere where it's the enemy's playground. And I'll just leave it at that. Alright guys, so I hope this helped y'all a little bit. Even though I wrote some of this down, I feel like I was scrambling a little bit. But I feel like as I get better and get closer and get more advanced in my journey with Christ, I feel like it'll get a little bit better. Because right now I'm still learning and I'm just still figuring it out. But far as my channel goes, I'm just going to continue. I feel like I have that confirmation to continue to just do what I'm doing. I don't feel like going forward I'm going to be a teacher. And I don't feel like, you know, I'm just going to continue to lifestyle, travel, and things of that nature, and just go on with my page. So I hope that some of this helped you. And if you are struggling, or if you got some tips for me, please put them down below, because I could take all the help I can, you know, just to, like, how, when you were with your journey with Christ, like, how did you deal with uncomfortable situations? Like, I would love to hear some advice down below. If you are not following me, go ahead, hit that follow, that like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.